Now there's something you wouldn't have seen before the war. A Jeep hauling a DC-4. Of course, we've had four-motored planes before, but there's never been anything before like the Jeep.
Welcome back, guys, to Retro Video 2.0. This is the second in the series of videos on repairing the coolant system in this 46 CJ2A. My name is Bill. This is Rust to Resurrection. Now, before I continue the video, before I put in part 2, I want to talk a little bit about how I filmed those videos back in the early days. Now, I mentioned in the first video that I was very new at it, using some very low-tech equipment and kind of learning how to do this as I went along. So first off, I want to talk a little bit about the camera gear. I had just one camcorder that I was using, and I'm still using it. It's my oldest camera, and it still performs all these years later, just like it did all those years ago. So I've been using that. It's been one of my main cameras for years. Now, the other thing that I was using, believe it or not, I was using this little tiny iPhone 5. This is what iPhones used to look like. It has a very, very, very tiny lens right there. If you haven't ever seen an old iPhone, very small lens, not the best quality, but it was able to do what I was asking it to do with relatively good video footage, but nothing like you get in today's iPhones. And you can see just how tiny this thing is. The other thing I was using was this GoPro Hero 3 or Hero 3 Plus. This is, again, a very old GoPro. They have gone so far beyond these Hero 3s that the improvement in color grading, color quality, the improvement in video quality, and the improvement in stabilization. These early GoPros had no stabilization. So those were the three cameras that I had to video the content that you're going to watch today in the video that you watched yesterday. I also want to talk about my experience with filmmaking, which at that time was virtually nothing. So there are several things that I talked about in this upcoming video that I didn't do close-ups. I wasn't really good at it. So with all that said, let's get on to part 2 and part 3 of fixing the coolant system on this CJ2A. So what I've done is I've put a catch pan underneath to catch all the fluid. There's actually a drain petcock underneath, and I'm going to get under there right now and release that petcock so I can drain some of that fluid out. While that fluid is running out, I'm going to detach this support bar, this upper radiator support bar, releasing the radiator from the Jeep itself. To do that top bracket, I'm gonna need two 5/8 inch wrenches. Alright, so I got that top bracket detached. I want to get these hoses off. I'm going to pull this lower hose off first. See if I can get some more fluid out of the radiator, and definitely out of the hose, because this hose has got to come off. It's got a common band hose clamp on it. Of course, like all compact spaces, this thing doesn't give me a lot of room to work. So I'm kind of squished down in here, but it's coming off okay. Let's see how this works. Oh, went off good. Good, cool. No fluid in there, so I should be able to pull this top hose off too. And give me more access to everything. Good. So that hose is off. All right, let's get the top hose pulled. Hopefully that doesn't drain either. All right. Oh, that one's on there good. All right, we're going to cut that one off. That's interesting. That's totally dry. It's almost like there hasn't been any water through that in a long time, and it's all rusty. So that question needs to be, how is this engine even cooling at all? You know, we'll have to figure that out later. Radiator is now free from the hoses. We'll get this top one is free. Let me get down underneath and pull off those lower nuts off that lower support. That's pretty amazing. Most of these bolts are not particularly tight, which is a good thing for getting them off. Oops. Usually people get so overzealous with their nuts and bolts that they tighten things way over tight. In this case, maybe a little tighter would have been nice. Alright, we have that bracket off. Now the next question is, will this thing come out willingly, or will it fight me? And looks like mostly willingly. Find a place to grab it. And that is that. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, all kinds of stuff in there. So, boy, that is all rusty under there. Man. All right, so this is the bottom of the radiator. It's interesting that this, I mentioned the rubber pads. So these are the rubber pads, and we've actually got rubber pads on both of those. And if you look right here, we have this this rust hole in this bottom shroud. I don't really plan to replace that. I don't know if I can even get one, but we'll take a look. And we got all this rust here. Got all this rust here. Core looks good. Fins look good. I think we're going to be all right there. What came out of the what came out was green. We had a little bit of brown gunk come out towards the end when I let it down. I am a little bit worried about the fact that the top of that was dry. For this thing to cool, it's got to circulate, so I'm not quite sure what that is. But we'll definitely get that figured out as well. All right. So now we got this big hole down inside, and that's the lower bracket for the mounting of the radiator on the bottom. So we get this thing loaded up on the truck and head over to Claremont, get it dropped off at the radiator repair, have him take a look and tell me what he sees, tell me what he knows. So let's start talking about the radiator. Got the radiator back from Dale, and Dale put the new shroud on. So we got the old shroud off, we got the new shroud on. Did a nice job. Got it home, cleaned it up, painted it a nice black. So that looks good. We left that little bit of rust, that rust spot on the bottom. I'm not going to worry about that. It's so small. I don't think it's going to really matter much. All right. So got a good clean bill of health from Dale. Dale looked it all over, and the insides of the radiator, the coils and the core, virtually look brand new. So we're going to put this in. I'm not going to show you the install. We also painted up this radiator support that goes on the top. Painted that up in the two solid steel radiator hoses. We primed and painted those, so that's a nice gloss black, which again is typical of what they look like, so that'll be pretty cool. I am going to pull this thermostat housing off today, and I'll show you that. We need to get inside and see if the thermostat's there and what that thermostat looks like. I will show you that coming off and show you what we discover. Let's start getting this housing off. I've got 3 9/16 bolts that need to be removed. Fortunately, they're all loose. I tried that and it worked pretty well. So we'll get those off. All right, so let's see. I got the bolts out. Let's see how this thing comes off, if it wants to come off. It doesn't. Okay. So they have some RTV sealer on here, and they've got a lot of it. So this, I suspect, is not going to be a lot of fun. Hang on while I get a hammer. I'm hoping this thing comes off without dumping a lot of stuff into the block. Yeah, just what I thought. There is no thermostat in here at all, and it's got this, holy crap, let me get something to put down in there. It's got this O-ring that somebody made out of RTV sealer. That's not the way you do stuff. And the worst part about it is, again, that whole thing looks dry, which really does bother me a little bit. So, yeah. So, here we've got this O-ring. Even if it could, it's not able to flow a lot of water. So, so we're going to put a thermostat in that and hopefully get that thing to flow water the way it's supposed to be. This is what I wanted to show you. Here is the one that came off. Here's the one that belongs on it. You know, can you see? Hopefully you can see that this one comes straight off and this one comes back on an angle, which points it back towards the fill spout on the radiator. Oh man, I don't know how this is going to work. Oh crap! Got to get that RTV off. Oh, that's coming off a little easier than I thought it would. Cast iron looks pretty clean, so I don't know why they felt the need to put all that RTV sealer on there. All right, well, let's see if I can blow some of that stuff out. Let me get some sandpaper. Of course, if you didn't drop something at least once, it wouldn't be a project. Let's see what this thing looks like. Oh yeah, that's pretty. All right, I gotta find something out here. I'm not sure about the location of this thing or what keeps it in place. So got some research to do, got to look some stuff up, and like I said, we'll come back when it's all done. All right.